Hey there, Movie Squad! This is Joey DeAngelis, and again with Richard Purnell for like our third video in the last few days.
Stop calling me.
Yeah, I know. It's like whenever this comes up, I just gotta call Richard.
I understand you have no one else to talk to, but come on.
I'm a very lonely soul.
I mean, I'm so sorry for that, but I can't be the only person you keep coming to. But I appreciate, I'm flattered at least.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
do you want to edit out that awkward moment?
Universal Monsters. So, we've known for a long time that Universal was planning to make a new cinematic universe for these monsters, because this isn't the first time they've done it.
Nope.
Back in the 1940s, they did all sorts of crossover movies. They did Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, which was their equivalent of like Batman versus Superman. House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and then of course you got Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein. All sorts of crossover movies. But now, with the release of The Mummy's going to be our first film in this new universe, which is called the Dark Universe.
It's so dark. So if you don't like darkness, then I'm sorry. I don't know. I got nothing to tell you.
And I guess part of the reason why they go and call it the Universal Monsters universe is because, well, the Warner Brothers and Legendary Films already have Monsterverse as a title.
True.
So,
and Universal Monster Universe just sounds like a little too complicated.
It sounds a little long. So they had to do something with that. So we're stuck with Dark Universe. And Richard, do you want to tackle?
I don't mind Dark Universe. I think that sounds pretty cool. I mean, granted, it makes me think of that not directed by Guillermo del Toro movie coming out of the DC movies.
Yep.
So I don't know if they'll have to change the title. I don't know what's going on, but that's a whole other conversation.
I was reading some threads. They were saying I almost thought this was a Justice League Dark announcement, but it was not. Obviously.
Sorry, DC fans.
Sorry, DC fans.
Sorry, DC fans.
Well, we also got a couple other confirmations. We now know officially that Javier Bardem will appear as the Frankenstein monster.
Yes, that was in talks for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of information we got about this, like, for a while was kind of like minuscule. We knew that there was a possibility that The Mummy was going to start a universe, and all the trailers and different little things that we saw for The Mummy, alluded to a bigger universe, what with Russell Crowe being Dr. Jekyll and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then even just seeing the trailers, you're seeing those jars and statues and all that stuff in the little what's it called? What's the name of it? Pro something? I don't know.
Prodigium?
Prodigium, yes, thank you.
Whatever it is, yep.
Yeah, that's like an organization in the movie or whatever that fights monsters. So you see a vampire skull in a jar and stuff.
Mm.
So there was inklings for a while, and so then I think a while ago they said that they were thinking about doing Bride of Frankenstein with Bill Condon, which is now official, which is pretty exciting. Especially because it's just exciting that Javier Bardem's in it as the monster, but it's also exciting because if you don't know this, Bill Condon directed a little movie called Gods and Monsters about the director of the first Frankenstein movie, James Whale.
And he also directed Bride of Frankenstein, James Whale, by the way, and The Invisible Man. And I also want to mention, those who make fun of Bill Condon because he did the Twilight movies, he also won an Oscar for Gods and Monsters for screenplay.
Suck it.
Yeah.
Anyway, was that inappropriate?
That was fine. You know what, Richard? You remember Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein?
Yes.
Now I want Ian McKellen cast as Dr. Pretorius.
Oh my god!
The remake.
Yes.
Universal, make it happen, or else.
Oh my god! I mean, he's worked with the guy twice, right?
No,
more than twice.
Wait, did he do that Mr. Holmes movie, or was that another director?
Yes, 3 times. It was Gods and Monsters, Mr. Holmes, and Beauty and the Beast. He was Cogsworth. Make it happen. That just freaked me out, man. That would be exciting.
would be pretty darn great. So we're getting that Bride of Frankenstein movie Valentine's Day 2019, was it?
Yes. Yeah, that's literally the next movie in this this dark universe.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And along with that, along with the Dark Universe announcement and the Bride of Frankenstein announcement, we also got a little video they released on pretty much every Universal Monster Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and it's a compilation of pretty much every classic Universal monster movie: The Mummy, Frankenstein, Bride. The Spanish Dracula, as you pointed out, which I didn't know. Wolfman, all of them are there, and we get a glimpse into the new kind of score, the music that will be accompanying the Dark Universe, as well as a reveal of the logo of Dark Universe. Mm-hmm. And then to top it all off, to tie it off with a nice ribbon, we got a first image of who we have monster-wise in the cast so far. So we have, obviously, we got Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Sophia Boutella as the Mummy, which I think she looks good.
Yep.
Then we have Johnny Depp officially as the Invisible Man, and Javier Bardem officially as the Frankenstein's monster. And, wait for it, this is the scariest one of the group in this picture. Are you ready for this? Tom Cruise as whoever he is in the Mummy. I don't know.
The Morton?
Nick Morton is his name, but he's so scary.
Nick Wilde is a much more frightening character. And is also closer to the Wolfman because he is a fox.
He is foxy, isn't he?
You know what I find interesting with the monsters that they picked is that they're not, aside from the Frankenstein monster, they're not there's no Wolfman as far as we know yet.
No Wolfman, no Dracula. No.
And those are part of the Trinity, I would say, of the Universal monsters, for lack of a better term.
Well, I think what's interesting. I think they're going for, they want to start off with, I think, the lesser known characters. I think that's kind of what Marvel did a little bit with their movies. They didn't take the most prominent characters because they didn't really own them.
Right.
To start, Spider-Man didn't show up until Civil War when they actually could use him. Mm-hmm. But they started off with Iron Man and Thor and Hulk technically is the most popular of those characters. But they started off with lesser known characters. So yeah. I mean, it gives them more of a chance to, I guess, have a little bit more freedom to mess with the characters, but also be more inclined to be more faithful, as opposed to say the DC movies, which you're adapting characters who've had a plethora of adaptions before. So, you have that instinct where you're you know what, I got to try something different so it doesn't look like something else someone else did. And then, right. It might work out, it might not. But, so I guess I kind of like that they're going with the more lesser knowns. But I am very curious and I want to know who's the Wolfman, who's Dracula. We need these information right now.
We do need the answers. I'm definitely agree. Or, you know what? They did show some of the creature from Black Lagoon in that little bit. And
yeah.
I'm just wondering what they're gonna. Because I remember for the longest time people were saying Scarlett Johansson was gonna be a human lead in that movie, in a creature from Black Lagoon.
Which I mean, I don't know if they would get her because she is busy with the Marvel movies. I don't know if they're allowed to cross over to that universe with that actor, but then again, Russell Crowe was in the DC movies, but he died, so there's an excuse for that.
Yeah.
But I would be interested if they did turn the creature into a woman, because I mean that's what they do with the Mummy. So
I think you got to add more. You can get away with that kind of stuff. Also, what I would really like to see is if we go deep enough into these movies, we can get some of the other weird Universal monsters. So we could get maybe the Hunchback at some point. The Phantom would be amazing.
Which they showed Phantom in the clip.
Yes, they did, but they showed the Claude Rains Phantom, which is the one that they still have the distribution rights to. The other one they just went to public domain. It wasn't got to another studio.
But they still showed it. So.
They still showed it. And you know what I'd like to see, Richard, is Dracula's daughter, who had a really... I think Dracula's daughter is like one of my favorites of the Universal Monster movies. I forgot the Countess's name, but if I always said if I had done like my own Universal Monsters like universe, she would be like one of the protagonists.
I think I remember you telling me this at one point.
Like,
yeah.
she teams up with Van Helsing to take out Dracula or something.
Yeah, I think the last time I heard you talk about this was when, we were in our friend's Facebook group, and we were like doing our fan casts or whatever for like if they did do like a remake of like something like this,
Yeah.
And you definitely didn't you pick like Eva Green or whatever?
Eva Green as Dracula's daughter.
Which, hey, Universal. I don't care what, but if Eva Green's not in this universe, it's a missed opportunity.
Either as the Dracula's daughter or as the bride.
One of the two.
One of those two.
Bride's the next movie. You don't have a bride yet. Make it happen, jerks.
Who else did I have that? I had Finn Jones as Dr. Frankenstein.
You did have Finn Jones, but now after watching Iron Fist, I don't know if I'd want that.
Yeah. You know what? To be fair, in my version, he'd probably get killed really quickly.
But that's the sad part. You know what they could do? They could take James McAvoy. Because as much as I'm very like mixed on the Victor Frankenstein movie that Max Landis did with Harry Potter and James McAvoy,
right?
He was good in the movie. So they could definitely bring him in and be like, play that character, but like it's a completely different world. We're not relating it to that movie at all.
Yeah.
Which is not like it's not the first time that's happened. I'm just saying. Well, now I'm also thinking Luke Evans is not Dracula, which is definitely an official thing. But since Bill Condon is involved, do you think
they could get him back?
Evans, they could get him back. Maybe not as Dracula, but as somebody else.
I could see Luke Evans as like the what the hell was the young guy that's in Dracula? That character's name?
Harker. Okay, I can see that.
I could see him more as a Harker type, or maybe as like the romantic rival in the Wolfman, another Beauty and the Beast situation, maybe.
Where he's just another asshole, pardon my language.
Another jerk.
Another one of those guys. Maybe
family.
He's just he's riding in to Transylvania right from the moment when I met her.
Yes, we're going to make the Universal Monsters into a musical. Deal with it.
Oh my gosh, you know who needs to be in it now? Dan Stevens.
Yes.
He could be Dracula.
It could be
or the Wolfman, which would be weird because he was the Beast and then he turns into the Wolfman. Ava Green, Dan Stevens. That's who I want in this universe. I'm just throwing that. You got Bill Condon. Throw Emma Watson in there, too, for crying out loud. Why not? And Josh Gad. Get the whole cast from Beauty and the Beast.
What you call it? If I did a Wolfman remake, I would cast, going back to Scarlett Johansson, I would cast Scarlett Johansson as Gwen Conliffe, the love interest from the original Wolfman.
That'd be...
Because she's just...
Cool.
Because she looks like a classic Hollywood...
Who would you pick, though?
Wolfman?
She does. But who would you pick for Wolfman? Not Dwayne Johnson?
Not Dwayne Johnson. Sorry.
I know there's that talk and that rumor that he might be the Wolfman, but the last person this man over here wants to play the Wolfman is Dwayne Johnson.
Get him as something else. I don't know. I'd be amused with him as the Hunchback. I'd be so amused.
Yeah.
No, but like have it like a CGI effect where you take off his shirt and it's just the Rock smiling is his hunch.
It's so creepy. He just takes his shirt off and he smiles. He's like, "Hey, it's okay to say you're welcome." I'm basically making this Universal Monster Universe a Disney movie.
Yes. This is fun.
Which, hey, it's all good.
Hey, it's okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah. My picks ultimately. I'd like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, or Bradley Cooper.
That'd be cool. I could definitely see that. Or Dan Stevens.
I just don't want. I don't want another Benicio del Toro who is just as dead as a doornail as the Wolfman.
I mean, hey, at least Rick Baker did the makeup for that movie.
Yes, that's true. That's very, very true.
It's just that's one of the not better examples of a Joe Johnston directed movie.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation. But okay, what do you think about the cast we have so far, though? The actual people we do.
The actual people we do have. I'm okay.
Honestly,
all right. So I'm still curious about Tom Cruise's role, because I have a weird feeling it's either going to be him as just the person who goes through all this nonsense, or he could be another monster, probably the Wolfman, which I don't want him to be the Wolfman.
No, he wouldn't.
And he wouldn't be because he would conceal his face too much.
No, because he would. I mean, granted, he might play ball and actually do it, kind of like Will Smith in Suicide Squad. You wouldn't think he would have the mask on at any point, but he actually put it on.
But that was for a majority of the movie.
Will Smith,
yeah. But with the
at least he did put it on, though.
Yeah, but I mean, the cast overall, I really dig it. I think the best casting would be Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man.
I mean, because if there's and we said this in the Mummy video, if there's a hammy character of all the characters, it's definitely the Invisible Man.
Yeah, that one you could turn up your weirdness, Johnny.
And heck, even it's been said by Mark Hamill that his inspiration for the Joker's voice was the Invisible Man. So
that makes so much more sense. That makes so much sense now that I think about it.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's just, I think, makes too much sense. And then I adore the idea of Javier Bardem as Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's a great idea too.
I think the whole cast so far, I think, is really cool. I would not have suspected Russell Crowe for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it's still cool. So
yeah, that is a pretty nifty casting.
But as far as and I mean, I like Tom Cruise. I don't dislike him.
Yeah, he's fine. It's just he plays a very specific kind of dude.
And he might be playing that kind of dude. He might be kind of I guess, the Van Helsing of this universe.
Yeah, which that I would be more okay with than him playing an actual monster.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys remember seeing from the trailers, or you, Joey, but in the trailers, they kind of reveal a little too much that when Tom Cruise is there's that opening sequence where he's in the plane and it crashes and he survives the crash, and everyone's wondering what's going on. They're like, you're cursed, and then you actually see that weird eyeball effect thing that the Mummy does. Tom Cruise does as well.
Right.
So I mean, he might have similar abilities to the Mummy, but maybe he can't die, so that makes him the perfect to take out the monsters. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But I'm just going to assume that he ends up being the the Van Helsing-esque character of this universe, which I like you said, I'd be fine with too.
Now, what would be the next one you would want to see? The next movie
after Bride?
After Bride.
I would be interested in seeing a standalone for it, because I'm assuming the Invisible Man shows up in Bride, because I think I read that in an article somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind seeing an Invisible Man follow up that, but if they are gonna go with the more lesser known monsters, maybe Creature could be next. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
Or they could go with one of the big dogs, no pun intended, do the Wolfman.
Yeah. I think they would have to do at least another one of the big monsters before the whole, crossover.
So I wouldn't mind if they do that kind of Justice League Avengers culmination type deal. What I think would be cool, what if they introduced Dracula in that as the villain?
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I always thought of that Dracula would be like the villain.
Yeah, like so that's partially why I think I'm happy that Luke Evans isn't Dracula, just because that version of Dracula was meant to be more heroic as opposed to a monster, and I'm like, that's not Dracula. Dracula's the villain.
I mean, there's some qualities of Dracula that make him understandable, but that's why I guess I like the Francis Ford Coppola movie a lot, because it blends a lot of those elements actually very well. At least for the character of Dracula, you can argue about the other elements are kind of weak, but with him, Dracula, I thought they played that very nicely.
Well, I mean, first of all, you got Gary Oldman to play the role, which is genius enough as it is. But now it makes me wonder, who do you think could be Dracula? And you did mention that the Spanish language Dracula was the one that they showed the most. So
yeah,
maybe...
so that's either like an issue of getting the rights to Bela Lugosi's face to use in that promotional bit, which I don't know why they wouldn't be able to use it, because I know sometimes with those old actors they have estates where they control how their the estate like say like Bela Lugosi's estate controls how his image is used. But with Carlos Villarreal, it's interesting because again we have Javier Bardem as the Frankenstein monster.
Not a white man.
Yeah, we have Sofia Boutella as the mummy. So I guess it could be a indicating that we could be getting some different, more flavors of the monsters instead of just pasty white people.
Which I mean, I'm fine with it. Johnny Depp's the only pasty white guy we got. Then hey.
I mean, if it works, it works. That's what I'll just say to that.
Yeah, that's all. Really, it works.
If they go with the Phantom in this universe at some point, get Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, there you go. You could. I mean, they wouldn't have to really do a whole lot of makeup effect on his face. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Some fangirls like,
don't you dare say that.
Did you just say my precious Cumberbatch is ugly? Kind of. But I mean, I to make myself a little bit better, I guess I would say, I do identify as a Cumberbitch. So
family show.
I feel like this is the most we've sworn in this whole
we have, but I won't mind editing this out.
But I mean, I can't think of the other term for a Cumberbatch fan. I'm a fan of Cumberbatch, is what I'm saying. So I think it's okay. We could get Cumberbatch.
So that would be cool, and it would be an interesting doctor. Would be another would be a doctor. David Tennant would make an interesting Frankenstein doctor.
He would be a great Victor, I think.
Yeah.
Now I really want that. It's him and Ian McKellen. Make it happen. And
Ian McKellen is Pretorius, yes.
And you know what I'm thinking now? And do you remember who I cast as Dracula in my fan cast?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Give him another cinematic universe part.
I mean, just think about it. I mean, first of all, he was Van Helsing, so he's already got a good relationship with these Universal monsters. Second, he's super charming and good looking. He's not Wolverine anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying he could do it. I'm just saying.
It'd be really funny, though, spoilers for Van Helsing, I guess, if they cast him as the Wolfman.
Wait, what? Spoilers? What do you mean?
Well, I guess he becomes a werewolf at the end of Van Helsing.
Joey!
I'm sorry I spoiled a 13-year-old movie, you chumps.
It's kind of like people that say the ending of Titanic, It's so upsetting.
I remember, there were people who watched it in theaters who didn't know the Titanic sank.
That's just sad. That's a lot like people that went to watch The Martian and said, "When did this happen?" Never, not once. Did it happen? Really?
Just please stop.
I like people, but they're a little weird sometimes. But I'm just saying, Hugh Jackman Dracula. Think about it. Think about it.
Man, all this talk of Universal Monsters makes me want to pull out my Blu-rays and start watching them again.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah, Richard's holding a stack of them right now.
Yeah, the Wolfman, Mummy, Invisible Man, Frankenstein, Dracula, Bride.
And you see, you have it in it looks like favorite order because you have Bride on top. And I
It's alphabet. It's alphabetical.
Oh, it's alphabetical. Okay. You see, when I have if I had the monster titles individually, I would put them in theatrical release order. So I would have Dracula first, then Frankenstein, and if we're going like balls to the wall, we'll have Mummy, then Bride, Frankenstein, Dracula's Daughter, and all those movies. But yeah, I think this could be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Well, Mummy's got to be a hit.
I mean, they're already pushing all of this. So if the Mummy doesn't work out, at least to a serviceable degree, then this is all going to feel a little,
yeah,
wasted.
Man,
but I mean, again, like I said in the Mummy video, I am somewhat excited for the Mummy. I think it looks like it could be cool, but it also could be bad. I feel like they definitely have to. I wouldn't mind because I feel like this Mummy movie doesn't have like a heavy traction of excitement going for it. Like a lot of people are kind of on the fence for it, but it would be nice if it was like a hit because then it would be such a surprise, and then that would make it even more successful. Everyone would be like, "We gotta go see this movie." Everyone's saying how good it is, and you're like, "I can't believe it." It's like Split. Like no one expected Split to be good because it's M. Night Shyamalan. Modern M. Night Shyamalan, mind you, but it got such great traction, and everyone's like surprised that M. Night Shyamalan's making good movies again. So, and that movie made tons of money,
right?
So I think this is a good place to be, in a way, for the Mummy movie. That kind of on the fence excitement versus dread kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Mummy just has to deliver, and if it doesn't, then
Yeah. But all that is cool. I think we could stop right there for today. We'll post more Universal stuff on this channel at some point when they come out with new stuff. We'll talk about the new Mummy movie when that comes out or whenever we see it.
I mean, I'll try to see it pretty immediately, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks, folks, for listening.
And in the comments, let us know who you would like to see cast in this universe and why.
Adios.
Bye-bye.